Hello and welcome. I'm Sheree. I'll just give us a few seconds to see if anyone wants to jump in. But essentially, today we're going to be chatting about how to become a foster carer in Victoria. It's a topic that I'm very passionate about. To give you a bit of background, I've been in the foster care industry for about 5 years, working with young people who are foster children and also their carers and their families. So I've seen firsthand the amazing difference that opening your home up and playing a part can be to the lives of these young people and their families and their communities. So settle in. If you have any questions at all, please feel free to pop them in the chat. You can also check out our website at Fostering Connections, or give us a call anytime if you want any more information or to have a chat on 1800 013 088. Alrighty. So I'm excited that you're here joining me to learn a bit more about foster care. And the information, just so you know, that we're discussing today is specific to the Victorian foster care system. The requirements and legislation changes state by state in Australia. So if you're not based in Victoria in Australia, check with your local authorities to find out what might vary in your area. I'd like to take a moment to acknowledge that the land in which I live and work on is the traditional land of the Peek Wurrong people of the Gunditjmara Ma, who have cared for these lands and waters for many thousands of years. I acknowledge and respect the cultural diversity of the many people that I work with and share land with. I support the principles of a reconciled Australia for all its people in the interests of all our children who are tomorrow's leaders. Welcome, everyone. You'll see in the chat there if you need. My co-sider Bron's helped me out there. Thanks, Bron. She's popped our website in the chat, fosteringconnections.com.au, if you want to find out more information about what we discussed today. It's a great page with some wonderful stories from experienced carers and also some answers to some frequently asked questions. Alternatively, as I mentioned before, feel free to give myself or the team a call on 1800 013 088, and we're more than happy to talk you through the process of becoming a foster carer in Victoria. So here at Fostering Connections, we are Victoria's statewide foster care recruitment service. We're run by the Centre of Excellence in Child and Family Welfare, who's the peak body for child and family services in Victoria. One of our primary roles is to provide support information to the public about the process to become a foster carer and also the eligibility requirements. We can also link you in with an agency in your area. There are 25 agencies in Victoria that provide foster care services, and we can link you up to the one that's just right for you and in your local area. So whether you're at the start of your journey and full of questions, or you're ready to be referred to an agency, we can help you through that whole process. Feel free to pop any questions in the chat or reach out at any point if you'd like. I think a key probably thing to cover here is to define actually what foster care is. So foster care is the temporary care of children and young people by members of the community who are trained and accredited carers. Foster care is about looking after and supporting the vulnerable children. They're aged between 0 and 18 years, and they're unable to live at home for a variety of reasons. Wherever possible, children who cannot remain with their parents, there's attempts made to place them with family, but when that's not possible, then that's when foster carers play a vital role. So in most cases, a child, when they first come into care, the aim is to support the parents to have their child returned to them as soon as possible, and that normally takes place in the first 6 to 12 months. And foster carers play a really, really important role of helping the child feel safe and reassured and supporting their emotional needs through that really, really tricky time for them when they're trying to understand what's going on in their world. The children that we see in foster care, they've faced some really hard challenges in life. However, they're also no different than any other child. It's important that foster carers approach fostering with an open heart and a willingness to try and understand the needs of the young person that they're looking after. As a foster carer, it's your role to support them, provide them with boundaries and routines, a safe place to live, and to help guide them through the different stages of being in care might take them through. Persistent and consistent care is critical for these young people, but you'll be linked with an agency who will provide you all the support that you need. So a foster care agency will always want to match carers wherever possible with the child who's just the right fit for them. And that can take into consideration things like your family circumstances, work and other time commitments that you might have, your lifestyle, the location of your home. So lots of things come into play when we're considering where the best place to place a child might be. Some key elements to become a foster carer. So you must be 21 years of age or older. You need to have a spare room for the young person in your home. And in most cases, you need to be an Australian resident or a permanent citizen. And on top of that, you need to be able to pass some key checks such as a police check and working with children's check. I think we can all appreciate that's about ensuring the safety for the young people that are most vulnerable in our communities. Anyone can become a foster care essentially. So you can be single or partnered. You might live in a share house. You could be working full-time, part-time. You might not work at all. You could do home duties. But if you have a spare room and you want to play a part and change the direction for a young person's life, and then you think you've got what it takes to be a carer, I really, really encourage you to give us a call on 1800 013 088 or check out our website and we can get you linked up with a foster care agency in your area. I'd like to acknowledge that June is Pride Month in Australia, and the 2024 theme for this year is Our Future. The foster care sector, we welcome inquiries from all members of the community, including the LGBTIQA+ community, to support vulnerable children in care because they are our future as well. I've seen examples of diverse carers from all walks of life really, really helping shape and make a positive influence in the lives of young people. And members of the LGBTIQA+ community could play a really important role because sometimes we've got young people who are in care that may be going through some of life's challenges in those early developmental years that you may have a shared experience with, and you may be able to relate to them. So if you have a spare room, if you're over 21 years of age, and if you would like to make a difference, have a think about fostering. There's a huge need at the moment for more foster carers. And I think some people believe that to be a carer, you have to have a huge chunk of time that you can devote to doing the role. And that's not true. Fostering is actually really quite flexible. There's 4 different types of care that you can provide. So there's long-term care, which is where you might take a child in and they might stay with you until they turn 18. There's short-term, so that's normally anything up to from around about 6 months. Often that's to provide enough time for families to work through whatever issues they need to address so that the child can return home. And then we have the categories of emergency and respite care. Emergency care, it is what it sounds like. It's when maybe a young person's first come into care and an agency needs some time to plan, to support them, to find out what's going to be the next steps, what it's going to look like. So I have been on the phone before calling a carer at 2 a.m. in the morning saying, I've got this little person who needs somewhere for the next 2 nights. Are you free? And it is a wonderful feeling to know that you've found and secured somewhere safe for that young person for those next couple of days. The other type of care is respite care. And if we think to what we see in like our social models quite often, you might have aunties or uncles that help out and grandparents. You might have close friends so that if you as a parent need to go out to a social function, or you're just a little bit burnt out, or you've been sick, you can call on those people in your network. Respite carers play that role for our full-time carers. They might put their hand up to have a young person once a month. That could be a regular thing. They might put their hand up and just have occasionally just different young people, and they're offering that little bit of respite and a break for a full-time carer to be able to go and attend to the wedding that they've been invited to, or spend time with their own children, or just have some quiet time to recharge their batteries. We hear from full-time carers that respite is invaluable for them to be able to provide the best care possible for the young people that they're looking after day in, day out. For anyone who's jumping in, thanks for joining. I'm Sheree. I am with the Fostering Connections team. If you want any more information about how to become a foster carer, feel free to look at our website, fosteringconnections.com.au, or you're always welcome to give us a call on 1800 013 088. I've spoken a little bit about becoming an accredited foster carer, and a question I get is, what does that look like? The process to become a carer normally takes approximately 6 months, and it does vary based upon the agency you're working with and how much work they've got going on. They can also slow things down a little bit because, things pop up in life and maybe we're not able to move through the process as quickly as we'd like to. So the process, as well as caring in general, but the process to become a foster carer can be flexible too. To apply to become a carer, you get in contact with an agency, which I can help you with. Get in contact with an agency, and they'll talk to you through some of the key elements of becoming a foster carer, and help answer any questions that you might specifically have as well. From there, there'd be some application forms. There's some checks that we need to complete. They might include filling in forms for your police checks. You need to have a working with children's check. There are some health checks. We look for some references from you as well. They would request that you attend a couple of days worth of training. And in that training, you'll learn a whole lot about the role of being a foster carer. You also learn about what you can expect from the young people that might come into your home. And you learn a bit of maybe what the experiences of their families has been. There's a stigma associated with the families of children who are in care. I have to say, from working with those families, that's not the case. You shouldn't stereotype. Many of these families are no different than you and I. They've perhaps just not had the right skill set, or they've had really tough experiences and haven't had the support networks around them. The parents love their children. They're just not always able to keep them safe. So through that training, you will learn about some of those experiences of why children come into care, and you'll learn about the ways to respond to them. If you decide that this is something you want to continue pursuing, then at that point we'll go through into the assessment phase. And the assessment phase does some interviews with you and your household members, looking at your motivation, any experiences that you've had in life that you can relate to, and how you might respond to the young person and work with the care team. So there's another word I probably need to explain. A care team is anyone that's involved in the life of the young person. So the care team would be the foster carers, their agency worker, child protection, and their parents. It could be school stakeholders. There could be some professionals that are involved in their life. The care team works together to identify the needs for the young person and put in place some goals and how they're going to achieve that, to make sure that the young person's getting everything that they need at that point in time while they're in care. So you're not alone. If you're a foster carer, you've got a whole team of support around you. So I really, really encourage you to think about it. And individual agencies will be able to give you more information of what their supports look like. but often you'll have phone lines that you can call after hours if there's an issue that comes up. You'll have a caseworker that you'll work with. You receive supervision, and there's plenty of ongoing training as well as a foster carer. For anyone that's jumping in late, my name's Sheree. I've been in the foster care industry for about 5 years, working with young people and carers. And I'm here today to encourage you to pick up the phone and just find out more, or jump onto our website at fosteringconnections.com.au. We're more than happy to answer any questions that you have. And it's not always the right time for people to become foster carers, but to have the information up your sleeve can be really, really helpful when everything aligns perfectly for you. In saying that, you'd be surprised the amount of people who have thought about fostering but have always said, oh, now's not the right time, or I'm not sure I have what it takes. When we talk to people who have gone through the process and have started taking on people into their homes and their lives, they say that quite often there's never a good time, but there's lots of reasons not to become a foster carer, but there's plenty of amazing reasons of why you should do it. I hear stories of people who have been able to give children first experiences of having a birthday cake, of celebrating Christmas, of going to the movies for the first time, and just the warm and fuzzy feeling that they get from being there to support the young person as they grow through these small experiences that some of us just take for granted. So it really is an amazing thing to give back to your community, to be a foster carer, and it is a community role, really. Without foster carers, it can be quite scary to think of where some of these poor vulnerable young children would be. And it takes a village. If you're a foster carer, you have that village around you in the care team. And I really, really encourage you to consider reaching out, getting some more information, and considering if this is the time that you're going to move forward and contact an agency and prepare to welcome a young person into your home. Our website again is fosteringconnections.com.au. Please jump on there. There's some beautiful stories. We have a newsletter as well that gets sent out regularly with news stories and articles about experienced carers, so you can hear firsthand. Foster care carers and foster care homes just look so different from each other. They're not the standard husband and wife with 2 kids. We've got plenty of single carers. We've got people who've never had children as well as carers who provide amazing homes for foster care kids. So if you are thinking about the reasons why you shouldn't, I encourage you to think about the reasons that you should and play a part. That's all I'm going to chat to you about today. Once again, our number is 1800 013 088. Please feel free to get in touch. We'd love to chat to you and see if we can answer any of your burning questions that you have about foster care, and get you connected with an agency in your area. So who knows, maybe in 12 months you might be welcoming a young person into your home. Thanks, everyone.